because like the song, they did the Monster Mash. It's about people doing a dance called the Monster Mash, and they're doing it to a song, right?
Hmm.
And that song is also called the Monster Mash, but it's not the song that we're listening to. The song that we're listening to is about people doing the dance the Monster Mash to the song the Monster Mash, which is not the current Monster Mash song that we're listening to.
Interesting.
Anyways, welcome to Terrorvision.
It's another episode of the podcast.
It's the podcast.
So sit back and relax
Sit back and relax.
with Justin and Alex. That doesn't rhyme, but
Justin and Alex.
I don't even know where I'm going with this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Terrorvision with Justin.
And I'm Alex.
Yeah. Today's episode, we're going to do something really different. This is all Alex's idea, so I want you to take the floor, Alex. What are we doing?
Kick it off.
This episode?
Well, so you texted me and you were like, "Hey, let's come up with something for our next video." And I was trying to, cuz you've come up with the last few things, so I wanted to pitch something. I wanted to come up with something, and I couldn't really think of a movie that I just couldn't really think of a movie because I've always been a bit of a weenie. But the one thing that I could think of was an episode of a TV show that really fucked me up as a kid. So hear me out, everyone. As I said to Justin, we're taking a look at Doctor Who today. we're taking a look at one specific episode of Doctor Who, and if anyone's watched Doctor Who, if you're familiar with the show, I'm sure you know where we're going with this. We're looking at season 3, episode 10, Blink. Justin, we just came off finishing that episode. That's one of the only Doctor Who episodes you've seen, if at
Yeah,
all.
I was going to say, this is the first Doctor Who episode I've ever watched, and honestly, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. For it not knowing any context about Doctor Who, and like the only context knowing about Doctor Who is that he time travels and shit, but it being kind of like its own episode, you said, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It had a good horror aspect to it. It was pretty creepy, and it did kind of have a mystery to it too. It had a pretty good mystery that kind of like had me drawn in, you know?
Yeah, man, that's the thing I feel like with Doctor Who is it's really hit or miss. The episodes, they're either like bangers like this one, or they're just like they're like dumpster fire, and we're just like, no, don't watch that, don't talk about that. But yeah, well, so for anyone not familiar, Doctor Who is a really old TV show. It originally aired in 1963. And it was canceled for a little bit, I want to say in the 80s or 90s, and then it came back with a modern revival in 2005. And it's still going, man. It's still going. My girlfriend and I tune in every Saturday on Disney Plus for the newest Doctor Who episode.
Is it really still going?
It's really still going, dude. Yeah, new
Oh,
episodes
wow.
every Saturday.
I was gonna say, because I don't remember Doctor Who being out in like the 80s or anything like you just said, but I remember it being out in like the early 2000s. So I was like, holy shit, it's still going on.
Yeah. So
But,
it was canceled for a little bit. And there's like the classic era of Doctor Who, and then like the modern era, but they're continuations of each other. It's not like a remake. So it's like, for anyone not familiar, the Doctor, the main character, he's an alien. He's a time traveling alien, and the whole show, the point of the show is he just kind of travels through space and time and, I don't know, man, fights space crime, you know? That's more or less it. But one of his gimmicks is that when he's about to die, he can regenerate, and he essentially becomes a new person, and that's how they recast him and stuff, and how they've kept the show going for so long. So yeah, like in the modern era, the guy that you saw as the Doctor in this episode, David Tennant, he's the 10th Doctor, which is like a continuation from, you know, the fucking bajillion from the classic eras. It's
the like 500 other Doctors in each season.
dude, you don't even what's the current one is like 15, And that's just like the basic count. And if you've watched the show, you know he's technically like 17 or something. And like
Jesus.
you don't even want to know how deep that rabbit hole goes. It's insane. But anyways, let's talk about this episode in particular.
Yeah, so
Man,
season 3, episode 10 of Blink, it's a 45-minute episode. It aired in 2007 on June 9th, I believe. Director for this episode was Hetty McDonald, and the writer for it was Stephen
Stephen
Moffat. Yeah. IMDb, there was only an IMDb rating, but I was surprised. It gave it a 9.8 out of 10.
Yeah, dude, fucking, I'm
That's
not
how
gonna
good it
lie.
was.
I That's what I'd give it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I didn't have any problem with the episode. I mean, there was a few parts where it was like I said, it being my first Doctor Who episode, I was a little confused
Oh,
at
sure,
first.
sure,
It was a little slow in certain scenes,
definitely.
but that being, an early 2000s show, but otherwise I was really interested into it when it started kicking off. The angel statues were very creepy, and it started picking up like a really good mystery about her finding out who the doctor is. And I was even intrigued because I was like, yeah, who the fuck is this doctor? So
Yeah, man. No, the writing for this episode's really great. Stephen Moffat's I really enjoy him as a Doctor Who writer. He became the showrunner for a little while. Some people don't, but that's neither here nor there. This episode follows so this episode is quite different from any other Doctor Who episode. Most of them follow the Doctor. He's the main character. This one, he's barely in it. The episode follows this random one-off character called Sally Sparrow, and she's investigating, just kind of for the fun of it, this creepy ass old Scooby-Doo haunted house, right?
Ruh-roh.
Row. The opening scene, I love the creepiness of the opening scene where she's kind of going around and taking pictures, and she starts peeling the wallpaper off because she sees a little message, and it's written like directly to her.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just I don't know, man. I don't know about you. I love the creepiness of that scene. But she starts ripping off the wallpaper, and it's like Sally Sparrow duck, and she ducks, and a fucking rock like smashes against the wall behind her. No, this episode's great. The main plot of the episode is she's investigating this old house, and there's a lot of it's almost a mystery. This whole episode, I would classify it more as a mystery horror
Yeah.
because there's a lot of different puzzle pieces that don't really seem related. There's this creepy house, and the main antagonist are these stone statues of crying angels, the weeping angels, if you're familiar. And these things have single-handedly changed my relationship with masonry for possibly the rest of my life. I don't think I ever look at a statue. I don't think I've ever looked at a statue since I was like 6 when this episode came out and felt okay around it. I still don't. I still
You would have hated growing up at my grandma's because that's all she had in her
Oh,
backyard was
dude,
statues, and she still does now,
I
is
would have wet
statues.
myself. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool puzzle pieces here. There's the creepy angels that only move when you're not looking at them. There's this video of the doctor who, if you're in Justin's position and have never seen the show, he's just this random guy who seems to know everything, and he's kind of embedded secretly in these DVDs that seem unrelated, and he's having half a conversation. It's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I liked all the clues they were leaving, or he was leaving, and just the slow build of finding out, like, who this doctor was to her, or, like, her trying to figure out what's going on pretty much in this whole episode. I found it really cool. No, it was very interesting. I
Yeah,
digged
so
it.
she goes to investigate all this stuff, and her best friend, Kathy, I think was her name, she gets
Yeah.
she gets got by a weeping angel,
She gets got.
and she gets got, man. She got. I don't
She
know what
got
more is there
fucking
to say.
yoinked into the past.
Yeah. So the Weeping Angels, Doctor Who, it's a sci-fi show, so of course they're aliens too. And their whole thing is when they get you, they zap you back to the past I don't know, like 60, 100 years, however long, and they feed off of that. I think they change it a couple times in the show. I think in this episode he said it was the potential like life energy or something that they feed off of. I know in the future they say it's the like time paradox energy that they feed off of.
Yeah.
But what they feed off of sending you back in time. That's the gist of it. And so yeah, like Sally she gets this letter from Kathy from like 60 years in the past, and she's like died already and stuff, and she like just spoke to her, but the angels got it. A lot of time travel stuff, but
It is a lot of time
a
travel.
lot of time travel stuff. If you don't like time travel, this show's not for you. I'm gonna be real. That's like it's a good
That's what
90%
I
of
was
what the
gonna
show
say
is.
because that's probably the number one reason why I never got into Doctor Who is because I'm not a huge fan of movies or shows that involve time travel. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No,
and
I
I'm
get
not
you.
too huge on sci-fi either, besides like Star Wars, but or alien movies or stuff like that. But yeah, even then, it took me a long time to even watch Alien. Like, I think I watched Alien last
Really,
year for the first time. But
really.
yeah, no, seriously, I've never been a huge fan of sci-fi or
Yeah,
like time
that's
travel
interesting
or
to me.
anything like futuristic. I think Star Wars was probably like
I wouldn't peg you for
the
that.
yeah, no, I think Star Wars is probably like one of the first movies sci-fi wise that I watched when I was younger, and still then I just never found it too interesting or too amazing
I get you.
because I've always big into like fantasy and medieval and that kind of stuff, or like horror too, like of course
Yeah.
because I grew up watching horror.
Well,
But
of
I
course,
I,
on
I love
Terrorvision.
Lord of the Rings and Never-Ending Story and Labyrinth and all those kind of movies growing up, so sci-fi was just never a genre of film that was evolved around my childhood. So
I get you.
but yeah, so that's why I never really got big into Doctor Who. I've had like you and so many other people tell me to watch it, but I'm just like, eh, like it looks cool,
I would
but
definitely check it out because one of the things that I really appreciate about the show is that it tackles a super wide range of genres. Like I know it's sci-fi, time travel, but there are episodes where like time travel doesn't exist or they do fantasy stuff. There's a Robin Hood episode. I don't know. They did and knocked my mic. Sorry if anyone heard that. But and like this episode being like just to each their own. And if you're not into sci-fi, that's totally okay. I know sci-fi is not at the top of my genre list, but Doctor Who just has such a wide range that I think it's fun just to check out.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I know Doctor Who's not all sci-fi, and
Just get all
that's why
defensive
I'm
about it. Well,
tr-
not my, it's not all sci-fi.
well, I know it's not all sci-fi, but and I know I should try getting into it. Like I said, I've had a lot of people like you and some other of my friends telling me to watch it, and then it's like give it a
Oh,
chance.
we're the most annoying fan base. Don't
I
get me
know you
wrong.
guys are. I trust me. I 100% fucking know. That's why I was very. Oh, I was when you texted me yesterday, like we should do a Doctor Who episode. I was like, oh fuck. But
Is
uh,
the only reason you did this was to get it off my chest, just get it,
yes,
just
I
get
was
it
like,
out of my system.
all right, fine. One episode, fangirl out, Alex. Just do your thing. No, I'm kidding. But no, it was a good episode. I was also gonna add the only time travel kind of movie that I ever enjoyed was Army of Darkness. That was the only time travel based movie.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, no,
And even that is definitely fantasy more than
yeah,
sci-fi.
exactly. So I trust me, I want to get into Doctor Who. I don't feel like I have the patience and um no, it looks like a good show, and so far with this episode, Blink, I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. I just need to get into it more.
Yeah. No, no, no. I get you. Don't. It's an overwhelming show, dude. Don't get me wrong, because I mean, there's a lot.
There is a lot. That's why I'm kind of like hesitant of starting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wrong ways to start Doctor Who too. Like I know. So my girlfriend Raina, I got her into the show a month or two ago, and she's obsessed with it right now. She's going through it, and we're almost caught up. But I know we were talking to my brother, and we were trying to get him into the show, and he was like, he was like, I tried to watch it. He was like, we started the first episode of the reboot in 2005, like season 1, episode 1.
Hmm.
And I don't know, you probably haven't seen that episode, but the villains of that episode are these like store mannequins that come to life and have like guns in their hands. And they're not like creepy or anything. They're just kind of like mindless drones that like march around and like zap
I
people and stuff.
think I've seen like a clip or something of that.
You might have. It looks really bad though. It's a really cheesy episode. And I mean, that's kind of the charm of Doctor Who, but if you're like trying to get into it and you watch that episode, you're going to be like, "What the fuck is this nerdy ass Star Trek looking fucking." But man, like it dude, if you get into it, it will it's all silly, fun B movie sci-fi stuff until they pull the most gut-wrenching, dark storyline that you have ever seen, and you cannot stop thinking about. It's insane the amount of times that not only Raina but I have just been like full sobbing during this show.
I was actually a little sad when the one officer got by the
Oh
angel.
man, that's such a cool scene. Yeah, no, that's a sad scene.
Yeah, he got, and then she ends up was it Sally's the main girl?
Sally's the main
Sally
girl, yeah.
Sarah? Yeah, so Sally ends up finding the officer again, but yeah, in his deathbed, and they're like sharing good memories and stuff with each other, and he's like, "Oh, I remember when I first met you in the rain," and
She's like, it's that same rain.
and then this is my wife that I was with, and yeah, it was like, wow, no, it was a pretty emotional scene. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I was like, that's sad.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The most that's the least emotional Doctor Who scene. The on average least emotional Doctor Who scene.
Yeah, I bet you fans are always bawling your eyes out.
Yeah. So most of the episode is just kind of her tracking down these mystery clues and trying to figure out what things are. She runs into that cop and he gets got. But she kind of pieces things together. They go back to the Scooby-Doo house once they figure everything out, or well, piece mostly everything together. And they load up this video that the doctor left them in these DVDs because she figures out that these random DVDs are all of the DVDs that she has. So it has something to do with her. And they load up this
Mhm.
video where he's having this half conversation that was recorded in the 60s in the past. And they have this conversation with him. And I love that scene so much where they're talking to him on the DVD player, and she's like, "But you can hear us." And he's like, "Well, of course I can hear you." And like, it's I don't know, it's very Doctor, where he's just like, "Shut up!" Like, "Yes, of course I can do this. I'm magic."
I'm a future man. Of
I'm
course
I'm
I can do this.
I'm literally God. Like,
I'm literally Jesus Christ. Of course I could fucking hear you.
no, but and so they kind of he tells her that she has to get to his blue box, which if you're not familiar with the show, which I'm sure you weren't, but the blue box is his time machine.
The blue box is a stash of weed.
It's a stash of God. I wish the Doctor would be so much cooler. No, so very quick, small side tangent. The Doctor flies around in a ship called the TARDIS, and it looks like an old 1960s police phone box. It's like for us in America, it's like a red telephone box, but it's blue and it says police on it.
Interesting.
That's why like when they went into the phone box, it was so much bigger on the inside, is because he's an alien and he's just cool like that. But so he tells her that they need to get that, and they find it in the basement. That's what the angels were trying to get. They were trying to get his time machine so they could, feed on everything forever, because they're evil. It's Doctor Who. It's not that deep. They they get the box and they get inside, and they activate like a disc, or one of the discs has like a ticket to activate the TARDIS. And so they put it in and it starts leaving them, but it traps the angels because they were, how do I describe this without sounding like a dumbass? because it's a phone box. So the angels are kind of wrapped around it, like the four of them trying to like shake it and like knock them over and shit,
Singing Kumbaya.
singing "Kumbaya." But the TARDIS leaves and they get stuck like that, and that's how they beat them. Is they get stuck looking at each other. And one of the rules kind of established early on in the episode is that they turn to stone when they're being seen, and can can only move when they're not being seen. So because they're trapped looking at each other like in stone, they're I'm sure I'm over explaining it. I'm sure everyone listening is like, shut the fuck up, Alex. Like, we get it. We understand.
Yeah,
We
I'm
get the
pretty sure
concept.
Justin's sitting
It's
here
not.
like, shut the fuck up, Alex.
It's B movie television. It's not that deep.
It's just fucking Doctor Who, Alex. Shut up.
No, man, I don't know. I like this episode. Hey, man, this episode came out in 2007. I was 6, or no, it was before my birthday, so I was 5. I was 5 when this episode came out.
Young
Man,
Lynn.
I was traumatized.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Especially at the end when they did the first jump scare with the angel and they did that like creepy face they have. Like
Oh
even
yeah.
watching that like just an hour ago like made me jump, and I was just like, oh Jesus, like fuck.
I know. I probably wouldn't give it the IMDb rating that IMDb gave it. I would personally, for me, I would give it like a good 7.6, 7.8, since it being my first episode of Doctor Who. But it was good. I'm not saying it was bad. I think my reasoning is that, I mean, of course, it's a 2000s episode, so there's parts where it's slow.
It's definitely it's an older episode.
For me, and also not knowing much about Doctor Who and was a little confused, I was like,
I was gonna say
no,
there's a lot
episode.
of things that I saw that that are just like normal to me. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is the Doctor and Martha. And, oh, yeah, this is the TARDIS and the TARDIS key. Like yeah, but like I'm sure like watching it, you'd be like, why the fuck does this random blue box matter? Who the fuck is this dude?
Well, I know the phone box. Like I know the whole thing about that. I know he I didn't know it was a ship. I know he time traveled in it, so I thought it was like a time traveling machine.
Yeah.
I do know who the Doctor is. Like I didn't know he was an alien either, so that's new to me. I just know of him. That being said, there's still some parts that were like a little like, well, I don't know that. So, but no, it was a good episode. I liked it, and we should start doing more shows, honestly, because there's another show that we could probably dive into. And
oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm open to keep doing TV shows. There's always more episodes of Doctor Who.
Yes.
That's silence.
No, I definitely want to start. Me and Alex were actually talking about doing some shows that kind of had horror tied with it. So we might, for the viewers that are listening, we might do some episodes of certain shows or here and there, but this is just ideas. But yeah, this was a good Doctor Who episode. I liked it. I digged it. Even though not knowing much about Doctor Who, I thought it was good. So any first-time Doctor Who watchers, give this episode a check. It was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you humoring me for this episode. I know my level of scary is a little bit different than your level of scary, but
well, I mean, I know, like I know that I've been planning out the last other episodes, and I was like, you know what? I'll see what Alex has to suggest.
We'll throw him a bone.
And I knew your ass was gonna throw Doctor Who, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. Just breathe. You know, we're both in this together. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll see how it is. And I watched it, and I thought it was good. So thank you for the episode suggestion. It was a cool episode.
I appreciate you having an open mind, dude. I really do.
I was like...
You can't say that for a lot of people.
I was like, fine. If Doctor Who's is... I don't know. It's like, okay. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a chance.
No, this was my Doctor Who fix for the show, so I appreciate you.
I was like, I was wondering when the time was going to come for you to start squeezing in Doctor Who in our Terrorvision podcast. So, but you made it work, so it was pretty cool. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube for more episodes, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more updates. Alex, thank you for the show suggestion. This was a pretty funny episode, and an interesting one too, since this would probably be the first episode that we've done a TV show episode.
Yeah.
So, not a movie.
Good to break that barrier.
Now, I am going to say right now, since I've let you done Doctor Who this episode, I have next episode planned out, but I'm not going to say what it is yet. But we'll talk about it soon, okay? Wink, wink. All right. It's my favorite movie. We're gonna do my favorite movie next episode.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fuck it, dude. I'm down.
Hell yeah. And thank you guys for stopping by. Always a pleasure. And we will tune in next time. I am Justin.
And I'm Alex.
And this is another episode of Terrorvision with Justin and Alex. Doctor Who theme. That was a
That's
shit.
my tortoise. Yeah, that's